everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. So in today's episode, we're going to be chatting about when is the right time to have your own gym or start looking into getting your own gym.
Yeah, we love this topic because one of the main things that we enjoy doing inside the Enrival X mentorship is help coaches get their own gyms. And we've got a bit of history with that, which we can touch on. But we're going to give any PT who might be in a commercial gym at the moment and thinking, I need out here, but I don't know where to go. We're going to give you a bit of guidance on that today. And first of all, we can just touch on like the obvious problems when you're a commercial PT. Now, I don't want to slag off commercial gyms because I think they're a good place to start in.
Yeah, and they give a lot of benefits. I think PTs, and that's actually one thing I maybe criticise about a lot of PTs is they're quite ungrateful when it comes to commercial gyms. And commercial gyms set up a lot for these people, you know, and do give them a lot of chances. And yes, they've got, you know, the managers can be dicks and they've got downfalls and things like that too. But there's still a lot of members there. There's still a lot of opportunity. Yeah,
it's a great place to cut your teeth. I always recommend it. That's where we started. It's always a great place to start. There's probably going to be 3, 4, 5, 6,000 members in there. You've not got a clue what you're doing at the beginning. But eventually that starts to get a wee bit annoying because like anything in life, when you want to grow, when you're a bit ambitious, there is a point in time you think to yourself, like, there's got to be something more than what's going on in here. And we can touch on the managers and stuff like that. Like most managers in the gyms that I've been involved in anyway, as I've been a manager as well, most of them never really had successful businesses. Now that's not me being a dick, that's just what I've seen. Mm-hmm. When I was first in Pure Gym in 2012, nothing against Charlene and can't remember their assistant manager at the time, but they had no idea what fitness was or nothing. They came from a different world, like admin world and stuff like that, which is fine because they did a good job at the stuff that Pure Gym wanted them to do, but the PTs were left with absolutely nothing at that point in time. We were all just kind of floating about making our own mistakes and learning, which I guess does well overall in the end. Obviously, eventually they started realising that managers need to come from the gym floor probably. So they've got a bit of experience, and then obviously they had their own mentorship and stuff like that. But I still think that's where a massive gap is for coaches just now in those places, is they don't get the support that they might think they were going to get when they started. So that's probably one of the kind of main problem.
And that they need and crave, you know, because a lot of them have no clue as well. Like, you know, you join the gym and you really don't know what you're doing at all. Like, you know, if you're someone that's got a little bit of chat and can quite quickly, you know, make friends and speak to people, it can come quite naturally to you. But if you're not someone like that, which I think most people aren't, it's very difficult because, you know, the idea of approaching someone on the gym floor is daunting. The idea of taking a class for the first time and hearing yourself on that mic that echoes around the gym is daunting. So we then need to find different strategies and ways to overcome that. But I think going back to the point of like, you know, let's even go far back to why you get in the industry. You get into the industry because you want to be your own boss.
Absolutely.
And that's a big part of it. And that was the part for me that I really wanted to do. I wanted to have control, like, you know, similar to you, and I'm sure similar to a lot of people out here, like, don't necessarily like being told what to do, don't like to have specific rules and times to do stuff, don't want to be doing anything you don't want to do, all these types of things. But when you're starting out, you know, you kind of need to get on with that stuff. You kind of need to play the game. You kind of have to play by the rules. But then there comes a point where I know for me that I just thought enough's enough. Like, I need to find an alternative here. And that's when obviously we started chatting more and then we started to plan things out from there. But I have massive respect to coaches that have been in the same gyms on shift for like multiple years, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. But I you know, and I could be totally wrong. I think some people do enjoy it, but I think there's a lot of fear involved. You know, it's the safety net.
Absolutely.
So people might say that they enjoy it, but actually that's all they know.
Yeah, it is a safety net. I remember when I was at Pure Gym again, 2012, I was actually the second PT in Scotland to go on rent. Wasn't that many gyms, so it sounds good, but there was only like 4 gyms, something all in Scotland at the time. And the rent back then was 300 quid, which sounds really cheap now compared to what it is. It's like 700 quid now for most like Glasgow city, big city gyms. But I remember at the time thinking, because this guy Lee said to me, just go and we'll go and rent, mate, it's going to be great. And I was like, fuck, 300 quid, man. Why the fuck do I have to pay 300 quid when I can just do these shifts for free?
Yeah.
And then he's like, he's not even a business mentor, he's not even a PT anymore, he's a good guy, but he was like, mate, what are you talking about? Think about it. If you're spending all that time doing 15 hours, how much is that? Like, how much are you getting per hour? How much are you saving by not paying that rent? I was like, shit, man, he's right. And then I just took the plunge, but there was a massive fear that back then that I wouldn't be able to. I was like, that's like a client, which seemed like a lot, but it wasn't. I had like 25 clients. So there is a massive fear there. And if you don't have the kind of mindset at that time then it can put you off. And we know guys that have been doing shift PTs for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
We literally work with them. They just left shifts since they came on board with us, which we can touch on here actually.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely surrounding that same point, like you need to know how to market and how to sell, because the reason a lot of people don't go on rent is because they're worried that they're not going to get any more clients. You know, they feel like the couple clients that they have got have come from classes and being on shift. Whereas that's, again, all they know. That's all they know. So if you've never done paid advertisement or had leads from social media or had leads from referrals and other aspects that you can get leads from, like, of course you're going to be scared. Like, of course you're going to be thinking like, I can't do this. But once you start to learn the other strategies and again, be around people that have done it, it starts to feel like much more freeing and you start to get that life back that you've wanted. And we've had lots of people, and again, we've touched on Maloon as well, similar position. He'd been a PT for 6-7 years, been with Unrivaled X for about a year, and now he's on rent, earning the most money he's ever made. And again, looking to really grow from a group standpoint as well, get out the kind of one-to-one game and
get his hobbies back.
Get his hobbies back. We've got multiple stories like that as well.
Yeah, Mark's another one. Mark was a gym PT on shift for about, I think, 2 years off the top of my head. And then he's just recently, same time as Maloon, they both just decided during their 90-day kind of meet up that they were going to take that chance, which isn't really a chance, but in their heads it might have been at the time. And it was a big thing for them. You could see it. They were all excited. They couldn't wait to do it. But there was that fear and anxiety as well, which everybody will get. But now it's the best thing they've ever done. If you asked them, how's your first month without doing shifts? They look younger, mate. Mm-hmm. They literally look younger because it's a busy life. If you're doing 25 hours of PT and then you're doing 15 hours in shift, that's 40 hours. But not just that, programming, check-ins, sales, marketing, all this stuff on top
traveling
of it.
in, traveling out.
Traveling in, traveling out. You're looking at 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
But for no more money.
Yeah. And I think one thing on this as well is, again, the whole topic with this is getting your own gym, but this is all the things that are going through your head at the moment that are listening in. And this is why, obviously, we're going to give you strategies on how to do it. But if you're not knowing how to fill your day, which is, again, a lot of the coaches listening don't know how to do. You know, they fill their day with a lot of procrastination, wasting time. But again, they've not got a goal. They've also not got anyone keeping them accountable. So it's one of those things that you can go down a rabbit hole and you may be stuck in that position if you don't sort things out. You know, if you don't change, nothing's going to change. But going back to the point on the gym stuff, I think when you feel like you've got everything out of the gym and you're looking to expand, you're maybe starting a group model, but people are being a bit funny about you using a certain area and using kit, and you're struggling to kind of do the timings that you want. That's when you kind of know. I think that's for a lot of coaches, that's when they know they need something different. Yeah,
when you've got a bit of finance behind you because you've done maybe the 12 months in the gym and you've collected a bit of money, when you're like, what's the next steps? Like Abby, who came on board with us, I think within 4 months, her gym opens on April the 1st.
Yeah.
So depending when this goes out, obviously, but that's in the space of like, when did we do 90-day event? Was it January? Yeah, it was. January, February, March. She's done 2 months.
I know.
She's got a gym ready on the 1st of April for small group PT.
Yeah.
She worked in somebody else's small gym, which didn't help her market, didn't help her sale, didn't help her do any of that stuff. She just decided that was the time for her. And sometimes that's what life's about. You make a strong decision and you've got clarity on that decision and you'll do absolutely anything to get it if there's enough purpose behind it.
Yeah, she's one of the fastest movers. I put a post about that the other day, and there's so many different like milestones that she's just like ticked off. And again, she started by, you know, obviously wanting to just get more leads. We gave her an abundance of leads. She needed more sales practice. We gave her sales practice. She then started to make sales with those leads. And, you know, fast forward to now, and again, she's opening the gym. She's, you know, launched her kind of gym ad for that, you know, launching the gym in our area. It's done really well. She's making sales and she's been posting, you know, videos and photos into the group chat of the gym getting built. Yep. And it's exciting. It's really exciting. And I think that the reason it's more exciting for these people is we know exactly what to do next. Like, we know exactly what to do next for them. It's not just a case of like, because anyone could realistically have a gym. It's not difficult to get a gym. You get a premise and you put kit in it.
Yep.
Well done. Now what? Build it. You know, how are you going to actually grow that thing?
Yeah.
Because that's the important part here. Is like, if you don't know how to market, how to sell, what differentiates you from other people, then it's going to be difficult, very difficult.
What model to have as well. You'll get, when I first started kind of working with people on gyms and stuff, and they were showing me the way they want the gym to look, I'm like, who's this gym for? Is it for you? Or is it for your clients? Because what a lot of PTs will do is they'll start planning it and thinking, God, I'm training this gym.
Such a good point, yeah.
But in reality, I was like, you're not training in that gym. Well, you can if you want, but it's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to build it for small group PT, there's a certain layout that works really well for that, like we did at Nightfit and some of the other guys have done. So that's one of the things I would say definitely that I've seen a lot when I've helped coaches with gyms is that's what pops up. They start designing it, it's like leg press and all these big weights, and I'm like, who's lifting that? It's not going to be Sandra.
I'm going to look down the camera for this one because this is such an important point that Chris has made there. And if you are someone that's looking to grow a gym and start a gym and you're looking at equipment, stop looking for the big bulky machines like the leg press and other things. Number one, they're the most expensive. Number two, it takes up all the space. And number three, you're going to be left with all this massive outgoings and you can't really fill it. You can't really run a small group model out of these types of gyms. Now, if you want to try and compete with the big boys and you're going to build this gym to compete with like the £20 memberships, you are going to lose a lot of money. So save your money, drop us a message and we'll help you out because you will go down the hill from there.
Yep, that's perfect, mate. I think we could kind of quickly touch on, because you are a PT who was in a commercial gym, who then obviously done the Nightfit bootcamp and then the gym. So what was your thought process, even just to start the bootcamp? What made you want something extra for what you were doing in Pure Gym?
I think we learned a lot from the Pure Gym that we were at as well, you know, together. And I think there was a lot of, most of the clients I work with were women, busy mums. And since then, that's kind of been the direction we've always taken with it. And a lot of them didn't like the mirrors in the gym. A lot of them felt quite intimidated and it was quite difficult moving them around the gym onto busy pieces of equipment. They didn't really like going in the weights area because, again, they felt judged. They felt like people were looking at them. There was mirrors literally surrounding them the whole way around. And we wanted to help more people. You know, again, going back to the same point of like, we felt like one-to-one wasn't enough. And there was no real other boot camps around. I think every other boot camp that we saw was like a military style boot camp, and it was always the same stuff and it was always the same style of training. And we wanted to make something that was fun. And I remember the vision that we had at the time was when we were planning it in the consultation room, we were thinking, let's imagine these types of people.
Yep.
That they never feel confident. They always feel like the odd one out. They always feel like the big one in the friend group or the most self-conscious one. And I always had this vision of like, if we did, because we did a lot of relay races and fun stuff. And I always had this vision of like, I want to imagine someone's really slow and they're running away from the group and they're thinking, oh my God. And then as they turn around and come back, every single person is clapping and cheering them on. And that just instantly kind of lifts them and makes them think, wow, this is amazing. And we've got many, many stories of that, of like, we used to do a hill run. And this hill run was brilliant. So we used to just spring on people, you know, and we've been very smart about how we do this with sessions and that. And we've taught all these things to coaches over time. But the beauty of the hill run was we never told anyone it was planned. So they would come to the boot camp and we'd have all the cones set out for fun and the balls there and all this stuff. And then instantly the music would go off and we'd just say, hill run.
It's horrible.
And then we'd take every single person out. There would be, you know, maybe Chris would be at the front with the fitter people pushing them on. I'd stay at the back with the people that were new and just keep it going. There was excuses the whole way up the hill. But because it happened so instantly, they just got on with it. And then we had people in tears at the end, like, oh my God, I cannot believe I've done that. It's like incredible, like really, really incredible. And I think all these things just inspired us to just keep pushing. And, you know, kind of gone off topic a little bit, but it just goes back to like the having the purpose, really. You know, we had that purpose and that why, and we knew what we were doing was different, and we've been copied and replicated multiple times. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. We want to help more people. The people that we've inspired to do a version of that are going to help more people as well. Yeah. Not a problem. But I think that if you're purely doing something because it's a copy of an idea and you can't really think for yourself, it's going to be difficult to really grow that. So this is why it's important when you're at that stage in the gym where you are maybe getting your own facility or thinking about it, think twice about why you're doing it. Don't just do it because someone else has done it.
Yeah, do you know one of my biggest memories of the Nightfit gym itself was when we seen it as a shell and then all the stuff get put in, the flooring, all the kit, and the first time you walk in there and you realise like this is their gym. Like it feels amazing. Nobody's your boss, because I was a Pure Gym manager at the time. You were a Pure Gym PT, obviously we did boot camp and that as well, but to go for Pure Gym which is my job. I'm not complaining about it. Like, I'm 40 hours a week. I need to be in at this schedule and that schedule. You've got clients in the gym. You're doing shifts before rent. We had to be somewhere. Whereas in our gym, it's like we do what we want to.
Yeah.
Nobody tells us what to do. We plan sessions, whatever time we want to put them on, and when we can show up. And just nothing's better than that in terms of coaching. Having your own freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think that's the kind of main point of this podcast. And it's probably going to be a little bit shorter than other ones because, there's only so many things that you can do in terms of growing your gym. But let's go 2 more key points, I think, for people that are maybe considering it. I think the next one I would go with is definitely, and again, it always comes down to this, is reach out for help. We are by far the best people for growing a gym and starting out a gym. We've done it multiple times. We've done it ourselves. We know what it takes. So if you're someone that's looking to do that and you want to get out of these gyms and you want to have your own facility, reach out to us, ask us for help, and speak to our coaches. I think that's one of the good things we do at Unrivaled X. We'll very quickly pair you up with people that have done there and been there, and you can share that experience. And that's why Maloon pulled the trigger, and Mary pulled the trigger, and Mark pulled the trigger on going on rent. This is just another step to that, because they feel the security of being around these people, and they think, actually, what's there to lose? Let's do it.
Yep. I think if you're in a position where you've been kind of thinking about a gym, what to do is start planning. You don't need to do anything with the plans, but what you can do is start pricing kit, start planning how you want the gym to be, start looking at units for your gym, start planning it, then it's going to become real. If you're literally planning something that you want to step into, it's going to seem a lot more realistic when you find out the options you've got for finance, if you're paying up front, the squat racks, everything. It makes it more real, and then you're going to be more intentional about what you want to do. We're leaving the commercial gym or somebody else's gym that you work in. So make sure if you're really keen on it, the first step to do, if you're not going to reach out to Josh and I, is start planning what that looks like, and then price it up, and then you'll get that wee buzz for it, and you're working towards something instead of just showing up to the gym all the time. What's your money doing?
I'll add one little bonus onto that as well, is don't worry too much about competition, and if other people are running similar things in the area. I've heard that a lot as well, of like if someone's like, oh, but there's a private ladies gym in the area already, or there's this or there's that. Like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's enough clients and customers to go around. So the last thing you need to worry about is someone else doing something there. As long as you've, again, got the vision of what you want to do, and you can turn that into reality, and you're strong enough to deal with the challenges and tests and obstacles, then you can make it a success. Yeah. Definitely.
Like Josh said about the competition, you don't need to worry about it. And here's the reason why. All you would need, say, is 50 bodies paying $175 a month, and you're probably collecting about $8,000 a month.
Yeah, roughly.
That's it. 50 human beings. Tell me there's not 200, 300, 400 human beings in your area who could come to a gym that you made. So the competition doesn't matter. It's like you don't need that many members to have a very successful gym.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll end the podcast there. I hope you got a lot of value from it. As I say, reach out to us if you need more help with this. Something we're really passionate about is helping coaches get their gym and get out of these gyms, because we've been there, we know it's difficult. So reach out for help. Don't hold yourself back any longer. We can speed up that process. That's why we're doing this. Rather than you think of something that might never happen or might take you 5 years, you'd be surprised at how quickly your 5-year plan can turn into a 12-month plan.
Brilliant.
Chat
Thanks
soon.
for listening, guys.
Cheers.